Welcome to Business Success Tips. We're ready to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman, and I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help clients and contractors build great teams. I have as my guest today, Eric Benavides. Hope I got that right.
Benavides.
Benavides, I'm close. And
Close
from
enough.
Fornidos, right? Not
That's
Doritos.
correct.
We got it. Okay, so this is a startup. You just got going last year's. I think it's interesting because you're solving a real problem I think people have, which obviously is construction costs and time to build and that kind of thing. So can you explain what your product does, what it's going to cost, what your vision is, and how you got started?
Sure. How I got started, I'm a home builder developer from way back, and been through several ups and downs. I went through the '08 crash, if you will, got into oil and gas construction, and then when COVID hit, I started to playing with thinking people were going to stay at home, more of an ADU approach. But one of the things I didn't want to do was just go pour concrete and build houses, sticks and bricks. So I started playing with a panelized construction system. And since then, that's what I've been doing so the last few years. But there's been several iterations. This particular group of or achievements that I've made is a again component construction. Well, actually, the name is Component Construction Systems. And what makes this a little bit different in this is that these I manufacture, design and manufacture panels, components, which are made up of foundations, interior and exterior walls, and then roof panels. And really, what makes me different is these panels are complete. They're actually primed on the inside, primed on the outside, doors, windows, trim. The floor is a pier and beam foundation, so it's permanent. So when all the panels come together, they actually form houses, all the way from small shelters or multi-unit shelters, all the way up into 3 bedroom, 2 bath. And we're eventually working on some new products, which would be light gauge steel, and for the whole structure, which right now we're using dimensional lumber, and and then we're working on in the next 30 to 60 days a 2-story product as well. So
Okay.
again, we're definitely panels.
So Eric, what inspired you to start this company?
Well, I've always been in construction and residential. What really inspired me is to keep some guys busy. I had a metal shop when COVID and oil and gas was pretty rough, and we started with shipping containers. And then on the flip side of that, I had some professional sons, and they were sent home to work, and they were working off of their kitchen tables. There wasn't much opportunity, so I
Mhm.
kind of started playing with that idea that I really thought ADUs and smaller houses was going to be a long term. I didn't think it was going to be just a temporary deal. Now people are going back to work, but I do believe a lot of people are still working from home. And so keeping my guys busy in that metal shop was probably the driving force. And then over time, I started evolving into all these people needing needs. And then even after that, seeing how many people really needed affordable housing. And that's kind of where we geared towards today.
So affordable. That's that's definitely a subjective thing, right? Some people think, my God, it's only 900 foot, it's a deal. And some people think, oh, it's 200 foot, it's expensive. So let's say your typical ADU is what? 600 square feet?
I would say, yeah, probably maybe a little bit lower. Maybe 400 would be an ADU that I had built. Actually, before I was down into the 200 square feet, more of a
So
work.
let's say you've got a 400 square foot ADU and you want to put it in your backyard. How does your process versus conventional stick and brick, what's the difference?
So what makes us unique is, and one of the things that I learned over time, excuse me about that, thing that I learned over time was it was all about planning, zoning, and permitting. And one of the things I wanted to do is to, when building it in a factory, I didn't want to fall under manufactured or modular. Nothing against those. It was just like the city of Dallas doesn't allow manufactured housing, unless you're special, the use permit. And so that really is where kind of the driving force. So what I did is I wanted a product that could meet regular building codes and also be mortgages, where there's no special financing. And that's where we kind of evolved into that. And how I did that is I went to the International Code Council. They're the people who manage the international building codes. And that they do that through their nonprofit arm, which is, people in the uh, the cities throughout and trade groups that come together and make the new codes. But they have a for-profit where they approve products, which is called their ES department, Evaluation Services. And so I was the first to receive their report called an ESR, and I'm ESR 5284, that actually approves my panels to be used in houses under, easiest way to describe that, as a building product. So when my panels come out of the factory, they actually meet international building codes. And then when they get assembled at that time, then I have another report that I just received at the IBS show, which is called the EER, which allows those actual building panels to be approved under building plans as well. So when my products come out the door, they actually can be approved in any municipality that accepts international building codes, with some caveats, of course, because everybody's
Now, is that
different.
what percentage of the building codes across the country accept that?
I would say, without being an expert, I would say that everybody in the United States accepts the international building codes in some capacities. Every city has a few things that they usually add themselves, but most all municipalities from states to cities accept the international building code.
So this is panelized construction. It's not modular in any way, right? Really?
That's correct. No, I fall under IBC, panelized construction. I happen to be a fancy two before. I mean, down to that granular level.
So let's say I want to build, a 400 square foot ADU in my backyard in Dallas. What's the difference in cost between your way versus conventional?
Well, conventional being regular sticks and bricks
Yeah.
construction, I would say I'm going to be, let's just say about 10% less, because we're still built out of the same 2x4 walls, the same insulation, the same, doors and windows that you see in normal construction. And it could be more. I say that because, there's every place, every location is going to be specific.
Right.
But where the real benefit is that when these panels go together, because it's a system, my foundations, which are pier and beam and not a poured concrete, when that goes together, we're typically assembling a house, depending on, like a 600 square foot house, we can assemble that, which has interior walls, bathrooms, kitchens. And again, we're just the panels, we're not the cabinets, typically in about 6 to 7 days. And so that would be dried in from foundation to start in that building. And that would be on, carrying panels into the backyard as well, without any cranes. This would all be, hand carried, or maybe a small extendable forklift, or even a handheld or a hand crank forklift could work as well, putting the typical roof panels on.
Okay, so you're a week as opposed to a month or longer, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it could go.
Yeah, could be, I've heard horror stories of even longer than that.
Right. So so other than time, do you have any other advantage to your product versus conventional construction?
Well, imagine a wall that we build. The way the panels are built, they're 6 foot wide, and that's just for many reasons, mostly because a sheet of plywood is 4 feet wide. And then our roof panels, which have the ceiling, the insulation, and the decking, are made up of engineered trusses. And so imagine a house that has a double stud every 6 feet, a double truss every 6 feet. And then how I put all of those panels together to meet code, I actually use Simpson strong ties, which are a pretty robust product and well-known product. And so I actually got a double benefit of that. So I use those products to put the building together, but I actually wound up with a house that is very robust. So we designed to California Seismic just because we could. And then we have snow loads up to 42 pounds, and our wind loads today is 130-mile-an-hour winds. That's just our standard product. So it's a very, very robust product, even though it's more.
So basically, you're getting a better product in less time for the same or a little less money.
Exactly. Yes. And be able to meet codes too, without much, and should be able to be embraced by the cities that these units are going in.
So if I go to the city and say I want to nail the ADU, and here's the thing I want to use, I shouldn't have a lot of problems, right? If as long as ADUs are approved in that municipality.
Yeah, exactly right. They actually can log into the ICC's website, just like the cities do typically, to find a new product. They would find not only my building products, but now they would also find, we have 14 sets of plans that are already uploaded, and those plans are actually on the ICC's website, and that's how the city would get to those to know that they're approved.
Okay, so from start to finish, you're a fraction of the time of conventional construction. Is that fair?
I would say from the time we start the job, which, if you're doing water and, any type of water, kitchen or bathroom, and you're running your underground plumbings to the time you hand somebody the keys, you could literally be done. And, inspections happen on a pretty regular basis. Within, 2 to 3 weeks, you're handing somebody the keys to move in.
Wow, that's amazing. So where do you see the biggest market since you're a startup for your product? Where are you going to really push?
So as a builder, I've worked out a lot of challenges that I would have seen this product happen as a builder. And so my particular client or builders, I think the best place for us would be accessory dwelling units, build to rent neighborhoods, more of a high volume, disaster was obviously a great opportunity for this, being wherever that might be. So more on the
Visited
attainable
Los
affordable.
Angeles? Just kidding, right?
No, yeah, actually, it could go there. One of the benefits of the system is it's flexible. So for me to go in and change from a dimensional lumber to light gauge steel, I don't have to redo my entire report. I just have to show new drawings, come up with the calculations. But no, actually, that's an actual really good opportunity to do that. One of the advantages of the Simpson Strong Ties when they did their testing, they actually did it with screws. And so and it was stronger, so I chose to go that route. So actually my buildings are screwed together. So if I want to make them bigger or larger or smaller, I can just come in, disassemble. Of course, you got to go through permitting and re-put them together and expand another bedroom or take it down and send it to another location or even sell the panels to somebody else.
So, if somebody's interested in, I think, to me, a lot of contractors are looking at ADUs as a quick way to expand their business. But they're going, do I start from scratch? Do I tow it in and put it on the property, build it someplace else? There's a lot of options. And you seem to be a better option than most because you don't have to deal with the building it someplace else and dropping in the lot because a lot of cities won't let you do that. You don't have to deal with I got to pour a foundation. It's going to take forever to get all the permits and all that stuff. So you're sort of the best alternative. So if contractors are interested in a better alternative to building the conventional, where should they go? How do they get in touch with you?
Easy enough. The reason instead of Component Construction Systems LLC, which was a mouthful, it's Fornidos, which means well built in Spanish. Just fornidos.com is the website. Of course, YouTube is a great tool for everybody. We've got some nice videos on our YouTube channel, which will show some animation of how these units go together.
Okay, so this is a very visual thing. So it's hard to explain in words, but I've looked at the website. So go to Fornidos. You can remember because it's like Doritos. It's well built in Spanish, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you can take a look at that and see if it makes sense for you. Because obviously, from a pure logistics point of view, it's quicker, easier, and faster than most conventional building. And for ADUs, the quicker you get it rented, the more money you make, right?
Exactly, exactly. It just makes everybody more comfortable, when you have a client that starts to see a house show up in a matter of days, gives them a lot of confidence that the contractors are going to get the job done and they're going to commit. As a homeowner, that's one of your largest fears is, my job going to get done. When we move so fast, it gives people a lot of confidence, or at least that's the goal.
Cool. So against the startups, I'm sure you're going to treat your first customers really well. You've proven the concept. You've got houses built and it's working. So, Eric, thank you for being there. If you're a contractor, and I'm going to say ADUs because it's easy, and you want to do an ADU, this seems like a way better alternative than a lot of other things I've seen.
Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate you being here. Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome. Thank you.